Hey guys, it's Mike. Sorry, I had an itch right there next to my nostril. That's embarrassing. Now you're going to reject me, aren't you? Okay, sorry. I just got back from the gym. I'm a little loopy. On my topic of discussion today is why an untreated borderline will never return your love. Why they will always, guaranteed, reject you in the worst possible way. And it probably sounds like I've asked that question numerous times, but I have a little different thought process here. Bear in mind, I said untreated borderlines to you borderlines out there. So if you think I'm talking, smack about you, I'm not. I'm talking smack about what you legitimately suffer with and what is your mental illness. It's not your fault. And I'll explain more in this video. So before I go any further, I must say that I am not a counselor. I am not a therapist. I am not a psychologist, a psychiatrist. I am not a certified mental health professional. I am not an expert in borderline personality disorder or any other kind of disorder. I am simply a self-confessed codependent, having been in a relationship with someone who had severe borderline personality disorder and got very enmeshed in the disease, the mental illness in that relationship, and I have since achieved a state of recovery. And I started this channel to help non-borderlines to recover and get their sense of self back, their identity, their power. And anybody else who wants to show up on the channel, you are more than welcome. So there you go. Don't take anything I say as any kind of instruction or any kind of replacement of therapy. Seek out a qualified therapist, and any actions you choose to take based on what I am saying is completely your own responsibility. All right, having said that, why is it that an untreated borderline will, without question, reject you? And when they reject you, it'll be horrific. It'll be of the most violent nature on an emotional level. They will reject you completely, utterly, and without mercy. And I was thinking about this, and it was a comment that somebody said on my channel, and I can't remember what it was, but sometimes phrases and things, I see things in sort of like a visionary way, and I see and feel it, and then I have to take it and put it into words. That's why I talk a lot, because there will be like this one awareness that is just this solid awareness that I have, whether it's right or not, deep within me, and it's so deep that I can't just put it into easy, intellectual words. I have to really talk it through. So let's see if I can do it. And I'm making it right now because I know if I wait, I'll lose it. So what you've heard of the Stockholm Syndrome, right? Stockholm Syndrome is when somebody is taken hostage, taken captive, tortured by somebody. And the survival mechanism is, in order to survive, they take on the beliefs and the mindset of their persecutor. And this really struck me as what has happened to borderlines. Listening to and reading some of the statements that some borderlines have made, expounding on some of my guesses, because that's really what it is. It's me, really trying to intuitively and empathically, true empathy is to go into the other person's feelings and feel what they feel, not try and figure out what they're thinking and say you're empathic. Most people who claim to be empaths are not empaths, because if they were empaths, they wouldn't get themselves into trouble. They would go, oh, that person's acting this way, but what's really going on is this. I better get the hell out of the way. No, they go walking blindly, and I feel for you, and it's because I feel so much that I can't tell what you're feeling. So both codependents and borderlines both do this. All right, so Stockholm Syndrome. So imagine, here's my little friend here, imagine the borderline. Younger than that, just old enough to have enough instincts to that evolution has given her to survive. First instinct is to bond with the parents, right? First instinct. Bond with the parents. The parents are God. The parents are everything. The parents will take care of you. Now, imagine that the parent gives you the message in whatever way that parent does. Neglect, abuse, double messages, apathy, who the hell knows what. I don't even want to start naming more possibilities. You get where I'm going. It's horrific. I mean, there's just no... I just don't have words for it. I just don't. I mean, I don't believe in hell or punishment, but if there is a place, the first people that are going there are people who screw up little babies. You know, it's just not fair. But imagine our little friend here, and she gets broken. The lack of love, the lack of attention, the lack of nurturing, the lack of empathy, the lack of, or the outright abuse, or the double messages, or the shaming, or the who knows what. And that instinct in that little baby, which wants to align with the parent, because if they can align themselves with the parent and get on an energetic, emotional sync, they're going to be okay. What if that never happens? They have this instinct to align with them. What if the message that is unavoidable is that you are bad? You aren't just, you are absolutely, completely unlovable. You don't deserve to exist. Because if, again, not just this girl, but an infant, they're all about just their existence. And if the message is, you should not exist, what if they adopt that, what do I call the syndrome? I tell you, I'm getting old, man. The Stockholm Syndrome. What if the Stockholm Syndrome that they bond with in order to try and connect with is that they absolutely deserve to stop existing. They deserve to die. I'm just guessing here. Something breaks. This is the way I look at it. It's not like they're damaged and then, like codependence, my experience of my own codependency, and I think others, is that they're not completely, totally shattered and broken. There may be a couple of strands barely hanging on. And you can build on those, and you go to therapy and you do this, and you can build on it and build more strands. You're never 100%, but sometimes you end up learning how to overcompensate and to compensate, and you heal. And so codependence in real recovery can be some of the most loving and respectful, empathic people who know how to give boundaries and all that kind of stuff because of the work that they've done. But forgive me, borderlines, if it sounds like I'm, maybe I'm wrong about this, but based on the things that I've read, based on my experience, based on the feelings that I have, which may or may not be right, feels to me like something actually breaks before it even gets created, except there's just enough in it that the little baby, soon to be borderlines, they adopt mommy and daddy's message, which is you deserve to die. Now they grow up with that, and they don't create an identity and all of that. And so all of the stuff they're doing is really just, like duct tape, trying to keep themselves from imploding. Now, stay with me on that. Here, then along comes the codependent. We won't talk about why the codependent is there. That's for another video. But the codependent shows up, and has a hole inside of them as well. The borderline goes, oh my gosh, another somebody like me, I relate to you, take care of me, fix me, love me. The codependent says, oh my God, somebody who will let me pour all of this need to love and fix into them. Oh my God. Then the drama comes. The drama of the deeper you get into the borderline, you find out how damaged they are, what happened to them in childhood, what they've gone through, which only makes the codependent go, oh my gosh, yes, I will be the one. I'm going to love you, right? And then they start to love. They start to pour love into the borderline. And according to at least one borderline, confessed borderline on here, that love just goes into an empty hole. Doesn't fill up, goes into an empty hole and disappears. But my experience has shown me that over time, what ends up happening is that the facades start to fall apart. The love actually does start to get in. The intimacy does start to be created. And what intimacy is designed to do is to get you to be your authentic core self. Now, ideally what happens is, somebody who's got some ability to bond and create. We won't use the word normal or healthy because everybody's got something. But normally what happens is that goes in there, you get through, maybe you fight, maybe there's some resistance, and then you get to the core of the person, your love gets in there, and the person goes, oh my God, I'm seeing myself in their eyes. I really see myself. That's what intimacy does. That's what love does. It makes you see yourself. Then, in order to stay, you have to decide to love yourself. And then you can, yeah, my mom this and the other, oh, I'll take care of you, I'll love you. And then there's this healing that happens and creates a bond and intimacy. But what if you are this little borderline who has broken? The only thing that she has successfully done is, number one, not created a self, because to create a self would be to break the rules. Because the parents, by saying, you don't exist, you're not important, you deserve to die, by doing that, the little borderline is not given permission to create a self. Because to create a self would be blasphemy. Because if the parents are God and the parents are saying, you better not have a self, I don't have one, you better not have one, then it's blasphemy, right? And the thing you need is you need God's love. Or what is he going to do? He's going to, drown you in the Red Sea. He's going to, send a flood. He's going to throw you into hell, right? Makes you wonder about religion. So the borderline somehow survives that unsurvivable. I mean, I have to say, I take my hat off. Anybody who has that and can survive, and then on top of that recover, I can't even be. I know. I'm a pretty strong guy. I've been through a lot, and I was thinking about this today. Out of all of my siblings, I'm the only one that escaped, and that's only because I worked my ass off for almost 40 years in therapy, spirituality, 12-step groups. And my brother and sister didn't really do it to the same degree I did, and they're suffering considerably. So I feel I'm pretty tough, don't mess with me. But the toughness that it takes to live with that and then recover, I can't even begin to, I can only begin. I can begin to feel like I understand. So now let's continue, right? So now you get the picture. There's something broke. The only thing that they did well is they adopted the message, which is that you deserve to die. You better not have a sense of self. You don't deserve to live. And then they become adults. Then they put on the facades. They learn. They get these super intensely just amazing intellects and emotional ability to emotionally, have their emotional life and to connect on an emotional level, and charming and beautiful and sometimes, all that other stuff. But the other stuff, completely broken. There's just nothing but clanging metal in there. Along comes somebody who is a codependent, and as I said before, they're going to start pouring the love in. They split, they do their thing, but those are like initial splits. There's a big split coming. There's like a final split, a final discard. For some of you, it takes years. But I'm here to say it's because it took that many years for you to actually get in, to actually make contact with the core self. And because the only program that successfully worked from the parents was, you deserve to die. You are horrible. So, what is going to happen when the codependent actually hits pay dirt and the love and the intimacy gets in? There's only two choices. Drop the program that you have about yourself and accept the one that's being given to you. Most people have some ability to evolve and grow, and the way the relationship grows is that they drop their limited belief about themselves and they go, I'm not that, I'm this. That scares me. I don't like evolution because I feel like I'm dying. Okay, but your love is more important to me than my limited experience of myself, so I'll drop that. Accept your belief, my ego's going crazy, my false humility's flying apart, the fear because now I'm letting you in even deeper, and the person says trust me and you trust them, and then they love you, and then boom, you both go up another notch, and then no man shall pull you asunder, because now you've gone beyond the identity that was created by the parents, and now you really do have a spiritual union. I think this is what it's all about. I've experienced this, unfortunately, with somebody who's no longer with us. But the borderline doesn't have anything to push off of. In order to do that, underneath all of that, there has to be a core sense of self. You're drowning in the pool, you hit the bottom, you push off. They have nothing to push off on. So the only thing they can do is kill what is coming at them, because their job is to kill themselves. That's what their parents... I want you, borderlines, I know this might be hard to hear. I'm not telling you this as a fact. I'm telling you that's what you've been told. That's what you adopted and believed. So when somebody completely loves the borderline and gives them love, and actually the love penetrates to the core self, which is broken, seriously, almost no identity at all is there, then it hits the one program for survival. Remember that the Stockholm Syndrome is one of survival. It's a survival mechanism. Their survival mechanism was to adopt what was being told them. You don't exist. You're not worth anything. You deserve to die. If somebody comes along and loves them, they're going to have to drop that. And that will feel like death. It won't, because they don't have enough emotional maturity to go, hey, that's not rational, I'm going to evolve. They don't have it. So the only thing they have left to do is attack with ferocity that impulse which is seeking to get them to drop their first and only defense strategy, which is to hate themselves with everything they have. It'll feel like blasphemy to them. So knowing that that's the case, that they are in fact broken, that when the adoption of that belief broke them, the only option they have if they're untreated is to destroy you. And so they do that in a couple ways. They're constantly devaluing you. Borderlines, you don't realize you do this, but you're constantly devaluing your partner and inducing in them the same feeling that you always have towards yourself. And it's an unconscious way of trying to get your partner to understand you so that they can feel how you feel. I'm sure you have no idea you're doing this. We all do it to some degree. And then it wears away, enough until at the end, I only experienced what I experienced, and I'm pretty strong and put together. So I can only imagine what it would be like for somebody who's been in it for years and doesn't have any training or any therapy. I can see that after that you'd be limping around for years without any sense of self anymore. I felt afterwards like my sense of self had been completely, totally taken from me, and I felt like I was never going to get it back. And that was huge. I mean, like I would even say, I think I'm broken. I think I'm broken. I don't think I'm ever going to be able to love again. I don't think I'm ever going to be able to feel good about myself again. And I had a short relationship in comparison to you guys, some of you guys. So that is the thing. So the reason why I'm telling you this, I don't care if it's true or not. Borderlines, if I'm wrong, it's okay if I'm wrong. What is important is to get through the denial and the delusion of the codependent who thinks that eventually their love is going to get to your core self. Your core self will go, oh, this is what I've been waiting for, and is going to soak it up and go, oh, yes, finally, now I'm here and I can love you. But what will happen without fail, it may take years, but at some point you will hit pay dirt, you will achieve your objective, and the intimacy and the love will get to the core self, and the core self will have no choice but to destroy you, because that's the mandate. Because the message that was given by the parents was, you don't deserve to live. And so they live out that mandate. If you're bringing life to them with your love, they must kill you. And it doesn't matter what they want. Do you understand? There hasn't been enough. I guess what I'm saying is, if you wait until somebody's 5, 6, or 7 years of age, maybe then they have enough of themselves to push off of. But at 2 or 3 months, 6 months of age, it breaks and it doesn't get fixed if they're untreated. I don't know what happens in treatment. You guys who are in treatment, borderlines, you know better than I do. But again, I still assume, and nobody has told me I'm wrong yet, I still assume that there will always be something broken, and really all you're doing is you're learning how to sort of just continuously maintain it and putting the duct tape on and keeping, the things moving, and sometimes you're faking it. You know what you want to do is this, but what you're supposed to do is this, and you fake it until it passes. I'm assuming. Anyway, all right, that's it for me. I'll figure out what to call this later, but I hope that wasn't too harsh. Borderlines, if you're hearing that, I was worried the whole time that me saying harshly, you don't deserve to live, that you're going to hear that. I hope you understand that, even though my focus is to help non-borderlines recover, I really hope that you guys can see how much I care. That seriously, if I could, if I thought there was something I could do, I would go in and fix. Because I think it's just the worst tragedy I've ever seen in my life. To see somebody that, that's been that, you know what happened. It's horrible. So, again, a 3-pronged approach for codependence. Number 1, if you want to have what I have, I am at a state of recovery. I'm currently in a state of recovery. People write me, comments and say, "Oh, I can tell you're still kind of messed up. I hope you're going to be okay." I am okay. I'm fine. The one thing I don't have in my life is I don't have my soulmate, and I haven't found a new one yet. But other than that, I really can't complain. I'm 56 years old. I'm in great shape. I'm healthy. I'm happy. I'm got a great career. I live in a beautiful place. I'm so taken care of. I'm one of the luckiest people that has to exist. I don't spend any time thinking about my borderline ex. I wouldn't even remember if I wasn't doing this channel. The healing was that, complete, that I wouldn't even think about them anymore, think about her anymore. If you want what I have, three-pronged approach. Number one, get your ass to therapy. Get a qualified therapist who knows how to deal with codependence in cluster B romantic relationships. Number two, get your ass to a CODA meeting, Codependence Anonymous. You can also, if you can't get to one of those, you can go to Al-Anon or Adult Children of Alcoholics. But nowadays you can do Zoom meetings, so there's really no excuse. You can get your virtual ass to a CODA meeting, work the 12 steps, especially the fourth step. Forget about all the other garbage and the personalities. Find somebody who will take you through the steps. That's where the recovery is. Number three, have a spiritual practice. Meditation, church, yoga, Tai Chi, whatever the hell it is. Some kind of thing. Those three things. Therapy, 12 steps, spiritual discipline. That to me is the magic key for codependent recovery. Okay, that's it for me. Talk to you guys later.